Good morning, animators. This is Mr. Granlund. I'm going to take you through how to do the landing shot from our superperson video. So first off, I'm going to create a new composition. I'm going to right-click on my footage, and this is the wide shot of the person landing in the scene. So I'm going to right-click, New Comp from Selection, and I'm going to split our layer in several places. And to split our layer, you can go to Edit and Split Layer. You can also do Control Shift and the letter D on the keyboard. So inside of my composition, I'm going to start with my clean plate where there's nothing in the scene here, and that goes till about 10 seconds. And now I'm going to do Control Shift D there. I'm going to go to the place where our hero walks in, and if you notice, as I'm scrubbing in the timeline here, I'm clicking and dragging my playhead, you'll notice that it's very pixelated on the screen. As soon as I let go, it's going to get better. This is set to full. Sometimes it's set to auto, which works better. Just to let you know that if that happens, there's nothing wrong. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to the point where they're highest in their jump. I'm going to split the layer, Control Shift D. And then as they look at their watch or phone, I'm going to split it there, Control Shift D. And then they run off. Now this part here where they're walking into the scene, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to move all of these files up, or all these layers up, so that they're happening earlier. And I'm going to focus on this layer here. Now this video clip here, we want to roto brush out. So I'm going to double click on that. You'll see the screen slightly changes. Up in the top, you see the tab, it says Layer. Now we're going to start to apply the roto brush tool. If you'd like to change the sizes of your brushes, you can go to Window, and you can go to Brushes. And then over here on the right side, we have some brush options. So if a 13 pixel brush just isn't big enough, or whatever else, you can certainly adjust the sizes here, roundness, hardness, all of these options are here. And again, that's under Window and Brushes. So I'm going to paint in our character green. And some things that I want to do is I want to make sure it just goes around our person. I'm going to hold spacebar, changes to the hand tool. You might get this warning here, draw roto brush strokes at full resolution. Click View Resolution in Full. So I'm going to do that too. View, Resolution, Full. And that's going to enhance the look of this so it's a little bit easier to see as we're creating our mask. I've highlighted this character in pink. I want to get rid of this bit by the shadow here. So I'm going to click Alt, and I'm going to paint it in red, and that takes away from the selection. If I want to get these fingers here, I'm going to need a smaller brush, and I'm going to paint in there with green. That looks pretty good. Now there's a miniature timeline that appears in the stage window, and the stuff highlighted in white is the length that we've selected for this clip. Just below that, this is our rendering timeline. So this is the amount of time here, and I need to adjust this to make sure that it reaches the beginning and the end of our clip here. So if you need to, you select these and you pull these out to the right size so that you can begin working. And what we want to do in our project is we want to make sure that the pink outline stays around our character at all times, and we'll need to make the adjustments necessary as we go forward. So here, if I go to the beginning of the clip, I notice that it's selecting some cars, so I'm going to get rid of that, and the hair, and it's missing part of the face, and the edge of the cape, and the hand. Got too much of the road. Hold Alt, get rid of that. And now it's back there, we're missing the hand, so I select that. And then I can hit the play button, or I can go step forward the next frame. The keyboard shortcut, if I want to play, is a spacebar. And if I want to go one frame forward or backward, I could go page down for step forward, and I could go page up for step backwards. And I'm noticing that there's some problems with the mask. It changes over time. It selects the car. Don't want to do that. I'm going to go through and paint green where I need to, and paint red where I need to. Again, to paint red on our mask here for the roto brush, I hold Alt on the keyboard and paint. So green is just regular, I just use the mouse and click. And to remove part of the selection, hold Alt and paint red. I'm going to pause the video here and come back when I'm done with my mask. Now that I've finished masking out and using the roto brush, I'm going to click the freeze button in the stage area. We'll let this render out. And what this is going to do is it's going to cut out our character from the background, so we just have an isolated version of our character. So I'm going to switch from layer to go back to composition, and to give you an idea of what this looks like, I'm going to turn off the backgrounds, and you can see that our person is cut out. Now if I turn on the layer underneath, this is our clean plate, and so there it is. And because it's shot at the same time, it looks perfect with the lighting and everything else, that it fits. I'm now going to go into how to create this cracked earth. You're going to download and import a picture of cracked earth, and we're going to put it underneath our clip of the landing here. I'm going to adjust it so that the bigger cracks are towards the foreground. Kind of size it to our sidewalk area here, and I'm going to position it underneath our clip. Now we want to make sure that it expands and it shows up as the character is landing. So we're going to go to the point, I'm going to turn this off, turn the eyeball off. I'm going to go to the point where the character is on the ground. You notice they're missing a shadow, and I'll show you how to put that in later. I'm going to bring cracked earth to just show up there at that time. We're going to put an elliptical mask on the cracked earth, so it looks like that. I'm going to go to toggle switches and modes down at the bottom of my screen, and next to cracked earth I'm going to change that from normal down to multiply. And I might even adjust the opacity under transform and just make it a little more see-through so it looks like it fits better. That looks good. I'm going to open up mask 1. I'm going to increase mask feather, and to animate this right at the point that they're landing, I'm going to click the stopwatch on mask expansion. For 0 pixels, I'm going to move that keyframe over, and I'm going to bring the mask expansion to negative 350 or so. And that's going to give us something that looks like this. Now it looks like our cracked earth begins a little late, so I'm going to adjust keyframes. That's looking good. Last thing I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to show you how to animate in the character falling from the sky. I'm going to go to our clip here. I'm going to push the letter P on the keyboard so I can adjust the position keyframes. And right as they're landing, I'm going to make sure that the keyframe lines up right where they're landing. Then I go back to the beginning of our clip to show you these are very small adjustments. So at the beginning, when they're at the height of their jump, I'm going to move that person up and out of frame. So now we have something like this. That crack to earth animation is a little slow, so I'm going to speed that up by bringing those keyframes closer together. And that's looking a lot better. Now, in order to have the person running off in the shot, I would need to mask out and do the roto brush for all of the frames, and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to have the cracked earth slowly fade out in the background. So I'm going to open up transform, and I'm going to go to about 9 seconds here right after they land and click the keyframe next to opacity. So it's going to start at 65%, and then by the time that short video clip ends, it's going to go down to 0. So it's just going to fade out as if it was never really there. And what that does for us is it just a smoother transition to the running off shot. If you have a close-up clip, it's really good to stick it in right after they check their watch. So get to that point in time, cut it off there, cut it off there after they run off screen, and now we have something that looks like this. They hit the earth, they check their watch, it goes to a close-up, they run out of screen, and I'm just going to adjust the timing there to get them mid-run, move it together, and now it's ready for some maybe dust and particle effects, which I'll show in the next video.